And calling the meeting of the Sustainable Greenfield Implementation Committee meeting of July. What's the date?
24?
24th.
24.
Thank you. To order. At what time? This the clock.
4:01.
Thank you. 4:01 p.m. We do have a quorum, and we'll do. Why don't we start the roll call with the people who are here? Do an introduction to committee members, and then we'll mention the people who aren't here. So I'll start. I'm George Tolumsis. I'm the planning board representative. I'm the vice chair of this committee, and I'm designated to be the facilitator by the chair.
Thank you, always. Hannah Rexhoffen, Chair and Member at Large, present.
Mike Boudreau with the Greenfield School System.
Francoise Hat, Member of the Public.
Sarah Brown, City Council designee.
Amy Kaling, Community and Economic Development Director and Planning Board designee.
And the other 5 members, Paul Newell is the new Director of Public Works, and we got word that he wouldn't be able to join this committee until next month. Jonah Keene is a public member and had indicated he wouldn't be able to be at this meeting. Carol Collins, Director of Energy and Sustainability, hadn't heard, so maybe coming at some point soon. Similar, Nancy Hazard is a public member.
Sorry, Nancy says she's having trouble signing on.
Oh, Nancy hopefully will be joining remotely momentarily. And who else? Oh, and Bram Moranis, another public member,
Yeah, have not heard.
had not heard whether he was, assuming he was coming, because we hadn't heard otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's the completion of the roll call. Hopefully Nancy will be.
I'm gonna try to sign on to see if
Okay.
it's the link in the agenda I made or a technical issue.
What's the energy? Oh, Carol.
Hmm?
Yes.
I didn't recognize the name for some reason.
Oh, I can't sign on either.
Oh.
Meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 26th, 2024.
Oh,
Oh, no, we did that.
That's the link in the agenda, not the calendar.
Interesting. That's the link in the calendar, which is the link in the agenda, because it's just a copy paste. Okay.
So that means if any members of the public are trying to get in.
Yep, so I can, if I knew what the right link was, I could just edit the calendar. Let me try to log on from last month, sorry.
okay.
Log on, although it's the same link I always use, so if it was wrong. Today. Hey, oh, okay, that's me, okay. Right, so I'm gonna, I don't know if you want it. Well, I'm gonna edit the meeting that is the link that's online, just change it to the right one.
Calendar.
On the calendar. On the calendar, yeah.
Thank you.
Thing my text is right.
While she's doing that,
Yes.
and I wanted to check before we get into the agenda, did you want to address the question you had about late additions to the agenda? You had a question of whether
Did I?
you
What was it?
speculated online about some things coming in after the 48-hour notice. Didn't you write something about that Nancy had?
Oh,
Okay.
Nancy reached out to Amy as well. I thought that Nancy had only reached out to you and I, but apparently she also reached out to Amy, so it was already in the agenda. So,
But I think you wrote something in response to Nancy. You wondered if there was an open meeting law question of whether or not. they could be added that late. So I wondered if you want to.
I think I said that with the new open meeting law, where we even had to submit announcements,
Yeah.
I didn't even think she would be able to do it as an announcement. So I guess yes, sorry, George, it's been a really long year.
One year.
Not even day.
I guess that was one of my questions, with this sort of more stringent open meeting law rules. It feels like there's now no space in an agenda other than public comment for someone to bring something that they didn't necessarily have time to submit. But members can't public comment, right? Like there's like,
Correct.
like, so once we pass 48 hours, there's nothing any member of the committee can.
So
Yeah.
I can, I have to have the lunch should be working. I just work with Nancy.
Oh, thank you.
I
Sorry.
have to have an agenda approved by the clerk and published before 48 hours before the meeting.
Yes.
I can amend the agenda
Okay.
after that, which is how I got
Mm,
Nancy's agenda items added.
Okay.
There's Nancy. The agenda items have to include a lot of detail, and in a way that I find I'm frequently combative with the city clerk's office of that. And so there is no open meeting law approved method that I have been able to determine where you can bring something new to the meeting that is not on the agenda, even if that thing is an announcement.
Okay.
Now, honestly, if you were to say your announcement and then we were to say to you, I'm so sorry, that violates open meeting law, but the announcement.
You would have
has
said,
been-
yeah, interesting. Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Are we being policed?
So Nancy, are you here now?
So I had said,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And
sorry about that, Nancy, my bad.
And before we have you and Carol introduce yourselves, I just want to check Amy has the calendar link been corrected so that any members of the public can now get in? if they're
Yes.
Trying that, okay. Great. So getting back to introductions,
Got it.
Nancy and Carol, could you please introduce yourselves? Nancy, you can go ahead first.
Nancy Hazard, a general member.
Carol Collins, Energy Director for the city of Greenfield.
Thank you. So, were you saying, so my understanding is there's a 48-hour cutoff for submitting something for an agenda.
Yes,
And I was in anticipation, having read yours, I went to the open meeting law site
yep,
and I was reading under, and I have a quote, which I don't have a printer at home, so I wrote it up. One of the questions is, may a public body consider a topic at a meeting that was not listed at the meeting notice? It says, yes, if it is a topic that the chair didn't reasonably anticipate 48 hours before the meeting. If topic is proposed after the notice is posted, the public body is encouraged to update the posting to provide public with as much notice as possible of what the subjects will be discussed during the meeting. Although the public body may consider topics not listed on the meeting notice, if unanticipated, the Attorney General strongly encourages to postpone discussion and action on topics that are controversial or may be of particular interest to the public if they weren't listed on the meeting notice.
Okay.
Now, the crucial thing to me is if they didn't reasonably anticipate them. Because one of the things that's on here is, was one of the things that's on here something that was mentioned at the last meeting? Is that accurate? Was
I
there?
think there was. But we would discuss.
Maybe not. No, I guess not. The Community Preservation Committee is something that was already on it, so I took that. Okay. So that's the guideline. I guess that it can happen.
Yeah. So the spirit of it, it seems, is just to try and keep any committee from sneakily discussing something that really the public should be involved with. That's the idea, right? It can't be like a premeditated sneak in.
Correct, however,
Oh.
however, Well, just so that you know how this context.
Yeah, yeah,
came up
yeah.
for this meeting. What I can't do is have an agenda item that reads announcements. And the descriptor is announcements relating to sustainability with nothing under it.
Oh, so if
I had
even
to, I
announcements
had
have
to
be
delete that. If
detailed.
it's an announcement and we have an agenda item that's announcements, we have to list the announcements now. If an announcement comes up that the chair couldn't, I suppose, have reasonably anticipated, then I think, yes, you could do it, but I pushed back on that and said this a nicer way. It just seems a little bit crazy that,
Yeah.
and I made the descriptor as like detailed as I could. I said events relating, announcements relating to upcoming events in Greenfield relating to sustainability. And that wasn't enough. I had to list the specific announcements.
How can you list everyone's announcements?
You can't, but there and that
As
is
amazing as you are, that was not a slight on your omniscience.
So I think, announcements are not on today's agenda.
Oh, okay.
So who told you
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Does
yeah.
somebody
Clerk.
review it?
Or city clerk.
That's
Who has to approve the agenda before it
Oh.
gets posted?
I'll cover myself. I think that partly this is an issue of us being disciplined to get something in before the 48 hours, as far as any topics.
Sure.
And I know we're trying to be a little more proactive to get things in ahead of time. And I think that I did hear a couple months ago in the context of an open meeting law complaint with the council, the city council came before and said if something hadn't been reasonably anticipated by the chair, it wasn't a violation to have something come up. So I think we could have an announcement category with announcements that had been sent in ahead of time
Right.
and are listed. And then, and if they're the ones that legitimately couldn't have been anticipated, they came up at the very last minute, but we're, sending them in, if we know about them ahead of time, then those would be, those would be legit.
That feels legitimate or reasonable to me.
If we're saying, okay, we know there's gonna be something come up that's related to this, get it in to Amy and Hannah ahead of time. Just so we're not being stifled.
Sure, and I guess just know that if I don't get any announcements in ahead of time,
Right,
that item will not be on the agenda.
and prompting us to do that, I think would be a good idea. Do you know of things, make sure to get them in so we can.
I will do my best. I was not good about prompting me for agenda items this week, so, but yes.
Okay, great.
I would just like to say that Amy, you are amazing.
Yes,
And I think this is craziness and it's ridiculous. And this kind of comes up every so often. And really, what is the impact? I mean, give me a break. And I'll say that and I'll take ownership and record me and yay.
I've already.
You're here.
Here, here.
I'll say as far as
Okay.
the topics, I think it's
Topics,
a
yeah.
very important issue because we do want the public to know as
Yeah.
much ahead of time as possible and the public be able
So
to
they can all watch.
so they can get involved and they can, so anyway.
Sure, and the city
Yeah.
clerk, I'm not trying to throw the city clerk's office under the bus. They're just doing their best to interpret public meeting
Yep.
law for the whole city
Yep.
and not get us in trouble. So it's
Mhm.
really with whoever at the state creates the guidelines.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going ahead with those additional agenda items. Sounds
I
reasonable.
think whatever is on the agenda has.
Yes, I sent
Yes.
the revised agenda. I sent a couple of.
I know.
iterations. So whatever the most
Amazing.
recent one is
Yeah.
what we're going with.
Very good. So
We've already veered off it, but.
the next item is public comment, and we paused a little bit to see if anyone went back to the calendar to get the correct link, and I don't see any members of the
masses
public.
haven't shown up.
So the next is approval of the June 26th meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Are there comments?
Wait, sorry, to approve. Sarah, okay,
A second.
I got it, yeah.
Discussion,
A couple of small things.
please.
On page 3, when we were talking about the leaf blowers, It says Carol said, thinks that the communities here are definitely more affluent, and I bet you there.
I did, but I thought someone else actually said that. I mean, I just did this, but,
No, but I mean,
yeah,
no, in the comments, what I said,
yeah, there,
yeah,
the ones you were talking about.
yeah, not
Yep.
here Greenfield being.
No.
affluent. No, I didn't think so.
Can you point me to which
Middle of the page.
Page 3,
thinks that, oh, yes, there,
It's the
sorry.
communities, yeah.
there,
Yes, yeah.
and it
Nice
doesn't have
catch.
to be definite.
Or,
Yeah, like someone else was talking about the landscape companies.
Yeah.
I just,
yep,
And you had more?
Oh, just the grammar thing under number 7, the second line.
7 pages.
Yeah, second line.
Yeah,
It is.
so, let's see, open space was created, including, and there is a nice group of dedicated folks. Second line,
yep, we're getting, and there is, oh, yep.
that's it.
You're not disputing they're nice.
Great, huh?
You're not disputing that they're nice.
I'm not disputing that they're nice, but it's a.
Just checking.
It is a nice-
Very good. Any other discussion? I have a few minor things, but I wanted to
You don't.
preface it by saying these are
I
incredibly
know.
detailed notes, which are wonderful. They're a great resource, Amy, to have. Because this is very complex discussion and it's wonderful to have to refer back to. So thank you for that. The only, under those present, I had 2 things. It's those present and obviously it's listing everybody, and checked off whether or not they're present. One is that Bram isn't listed,
Oh,
and, wasn't present, and I don't think, right? No.
No.
And the other is that Paul, I don't think at that time he would have been a member because,
no, I
No, he
tried to
wasn't.
get ahead of myself to prepare for this meeting, but I edited the wrong document.
okay,
So yes, thank you. I will take,
Yeah.
add Bram and I think I put Paul back.
it was Marlo
Or
then.
Marlo back,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then-
Marlo's back.
The other thing is just a minor correction on page 2, under item 5, is that in the middle of that little paragraph, where it says, at the next meeting, they are going to do the last half of the goals in it's the natural, historical, and cultural chapter, not the land use.
Ah.
You see what I'm?
Yep.
saying? Great. That is it for me. I didn't want to be nitpicky before I was praising the overall wonder of it. Any other discussion? Hearing none. And to honor open meeting law, since we have someone who's remote, we have to do a roll call vote. Okay, I will vote yes.
I'll abstain, I was not here.
Yes?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Yes,
All right. Thank you very much. Next item is master plan updates, planning board discussion. So it did, as it said, the planning board, continued with the second half of the National Historic and Cultural. And there was one, substantive, addition made, with one of the planning board members pointing out that, what wasn't in the, National Historic Cultural was reference to, industry and innovation, in Greenfield. And so wanted to have that highlighted, in a general way, noting that it could be, utilized or implemented programmatically in various ways, but that hadn't really been flagged, as something, historic, to reference. So that was, added in, or going to be added in. The planning board hasn't voted on it yet. At the next meeting, we're going to try to go, through the entirety of the land use chapter. And, then once we've, reviewed that and made any, tweaks, then we're planning to vote on it. And then so that's the update on that. Didn't even need 5 minutes. Next item is discussion of information sharing and public education. discussion around processes, pathways, and partners, very alliterative. That SDIC can use when we identify information we want to share and topics we want to educate the public on. This came up with the example around the leaf blower thing, and I think it was Jonah who said, you know, that's one example, but how do we have, what's our process for how we want to more generally do that kind of thing? Or-
Have we done anything like that in the past? Like a little, once twice a year kind of meeting for the public saying those are the things that this committee finds important and we would like you to know about?
Well, we've done my turns, we've done various, forms of communication.
Mhm.
Um,
We've done my turns as a committee.
Yep, we've authorized someone to write a my turn, and I think we've managed to have it be on behalf of the committee, right? At some
I think a
point,
few times, yeah.
yeah.
Are we on Everything Greenfield? On Facebook, I know that,
God,
I think it's called Everything Greenfield or some, where the mayor always is posting something on it almost like every other day with like announcements and things she's doing, places she's going, and
We just got a new communications director. Who seems great. So we can bring that up. I don't know.
What's this
So-
person's name?
Jonathan.
Mhm. Weber,
Something.
Weber.
Weber.
so if there's things you want to get out to the public, maybe they can help you and post
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, maybe we invite Jonathan to a meeting.
Hmm.
Meet him and have some suggestions of things we'd like to, parts of the website or whatever things we'd like to highlight. We were just talking about this in the community relations subcommittee meeting on Monday.
Mhm.
Because I'll just mention another example of content was, we were just talking last time about the FRTA
Mhm.
presentation and, using that video in various ways. And also that when we asked Michael Praltz of the FRTA, what could the city do? He said, just get the information out, get the word out. And so that could be it's another example of things that we could disseminate. Oh,
Honestly, the FRTA website is really challenging if you go on there. So I feel like if,
Mm.
and I'm not sure how many people realistically would watch like a half-hour info video, but like I would watch it. I would. But yeah, I feel like just the website being user friendly, which isn't really our domain, but if we could help support that.
I feel like it depends so much on what the information is because channels are so vast and so different. So I feel like it would depend on what we were trying to communicate, because we don't really have our own social media presence. If someone else wants to post on Everything Greenfield and then monitor the comment section, they are welcome to, but I would not recommend we do that as a committee by any means. But I feel like there are so many ways that we could amplify outward if we have a targeted thing. I don't know, I would have a discussion about how we sort of send something out in a strategic way about any particular topic.
Can I say? I mean, I think we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit, and I think that it makes a lot of sense, like Amy already put together some great resources. I did think that reading after our meeting more about DC and what they did and kind of refreshing my memory. I think that it's really important to have a strategy and spend some time, especially when almost everything is contentious, to come up with a plan. And then from there, doing the steps that should happen. So, yeah, we could do some just general like outreach, but I think the one thing that I didn't remember before our meeting was that in DC, they did ban all gas-powered lawn equipment, but it was like years in advance. And so they took that time to really ramp up all of their steps to avoid unnecessary or, as much as possible, like pushback and issues. And I think taking things like that into account are really important.
Mhm.
And then maybe from there, figuring out like, what's the best way to start this? What did other communities do? What was well received? Because you never know these days, like what. But I didn't see my pushing the ball with the leaf blower in the notes there. That's what makes me.
Redacted.
A different agenda item.
Right.
We got electric leaf blower, at least one downstairs, we could try it.
I put
I
it
have
in there.
one.
I put it in minutes that you wanted to see a demonstration.
I did see
I
that.
just wasn't.
They do make some that are as good as gas powered ones now.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
actually have a video and I looked into them. But they're, for the comparison between gas and the electric, you can get a good gas one for $600 to $800. The electric one's $2,200.
Well, there's incentives.
Well, if you get a good,
But you're
you know,
talking
like
like-
landscaping or
Like a commercial.
like
grade,
Snow and Sons,
like-
they're
yeah,
gonna have to
yeah,
buy
yeah,
a whole
yeah.
bunch to be able to do,
Yeah.
to
Yep.
accommodate this. So, yeah, I'm not the
Need some
homeowner ones,
rebates,
but
yeah.
yeah.
There
Yeah.
are incentives, and so the whole intention with that is to make them cost comparative.
Yeah.
But even if there is a bigger upfront cost, you typically save in the end, and you don't get like long distances.
Love
And this is one example,
Mhm.
and the agenda item is about more general, strategies or options we have for
Mhm.
getting out information. So,
Because something like the leaf blower. Maybe you could start maybe with my turn, but it feels like an actual public meeting would be needed if we were trying to prepare the terrain for eventually, changing the bylaws.
That's a good question. Is that keeping with this particular example, and I was not here for the last meeting, so we might have discussed this. How does the SGIC wade into things that are going to ultimately be a policy change or something like that? I mean, is it that we put things like that in front of the mayor with regard to the master plan, or is it that we can decide to back an issue and
you talking about like an ordinance?
an ordinance?
Well, our consensus last time was we had no appetite for
Yeah,
encouraging
I'm so
any
glad to
kind
hear
of,
that,
any
yeah.
kind of ordinance change. We thought education was
education.
the way to go. That was reflected in the minutes, that there was no sense, and nor was there on A and O. It seemed like there wasn't, it's a very complex
Yeah,
issue, and so that's why we were
but
inclined toward.
but education, good, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But,
Oh, sorry.
so, you know,
Thank you. Nancy, it's way up.
Yeah, I think it really needs to be, didn't mean to turn myself off. Um, Just from listening to the conversation and thinking it through, it does seem like each specific example needs to be considered. Is it a contentious issue? Is it not a contentious issue? So for example, back to the FRTA, I brought it to committee about doing some certain things. By the way, the standalone video is not yet done, but should be done any day. I'll know how it goes. So that was not a contentious issue. So it moved forward. But you're right about the leaf blower, big deal. So yeah, you'd need to have a plan, as Carol was suggesting.
Mhm.
But we have not, the closest thing we've ever done to an ordinance, I think, historically, is George, your effort about snow removal from sidewalks. Was that an ordinance or just a my turn, or what was that?
No, we did work on the change to the ordinance. I can't remember the nuts and bolts of what we did as far as a recommendation. We also were involved with the Complete Streets policy. That's not an ordinance, it's a policy. But we were involved with forwarding that. But the change of the ordinance about the width and about including the curb cuts, we did put that forward. Yeah.
Eons ago.
Yes, it was a long time ago. Yeah. And that did pass the
Both.
council. Yes, yes.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is public education, also policy, sorry to like, they're connected, but I do feel like this committee playing more of a role in policy and like bringing recommendations to the city council. The mayor could also do an executive order, but probably the city council would be the route we would usually take, would be really good, and is a good place to like build public education to then support a change. And it's also hard to like be discussing this topic without some examples, but I do feel like transportation and the rodenticide thing that's going to be coming up, the ordinance, like that would be something to build public education around, and potentially like climate leaders designation if we're interested in thinking about that more. So, yeah, it's hard to think about it without like specific campaigns, like more broadly.
And I think some of them could be actual in-person events. I mean,
Mhm.
we had talked when, you were talking about the video, the FRTA, Nancy, we had talked about the possibility of having an in-person event to disseminate that and promote, information, because it is something that a lot of people aren't familiar with. And some of us nerds will go and check out the FRTA site. I've been there so many times, But it's not everyone's cup of tea, but finding a way to make it more user-friendly, and more accessible to people.
Mhm.
But it is so case specific for the type of information and how contentious it might be.
Have you all seen the Amherst sustainability dashboard? Like, it's really good. Like, this is a great website example. I'm sorry, public can't see this and people can pull it up. But like, I feel like if we had something.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Carol.
If we had $100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Jim Lundgren Associates, we could have that.
Yes, but it's really, good. If we could have a single.
Making a donation.
Yeah. My blood and soul and
No, don't we have a page or something on the city?
oh, George, stop
Is,
giving me a hard time.
no, I'm not, but, I
We
didn't
have a
mean to.
Facebook page that
Facebook
hasn't
page.
been updated in a long time. That's
Okay.
supposed to be the work of a position that has been not really happening, but we had, lackluster success with that,
Okay,
and it's just taking time. We do have dashboards that I did. That's for all the buildings.
Mhm.
We do have a page where we, again, I'm supposed to have help on this and it just,
okay. No, I thought we had something on
The city
city,
site.
on the city website.
these
There's
are on the
a-
city's website.
There's a
The
sustainable,
dashboards, the sustainable, yeah, there you go.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
so, okay. And is that something you have the
Actually, not me,
responsibility for?
Sustainable Greenfield, I don't know.
So,
Yeah,
you
so
could
is that,
I
add.
have an energy and sustainability department page, that's why.
Mhm.
so is that something that gets,
Dated?
or is it meant to be, is that a
If
method
there are
of?
things you would like to put on here, I am happy to put them on there and we can
Okay.
update this. I don't think it's particularly updated, because I don't know that we've ever talked about updating it, frankly.
I guess from the point of view of this agenda item, information sharing and public education could we utilize that more effectively? That's what I'm wondering.
I'm thinking, if and when the planning board approves, of the changes.
Someone knocking from in there?
Yeah.
Outside?
Come in, I guess.
Wonder if it's Aaron's sign.
Go away.
Um,
Don't open it.
Probably Aaron.
Hello?
Hello. How are you? Are you looking for your mom?
Yeah, we need more green bags.
Okay. I can go,
Did you look in the basement? Are they the trash bags?
Yeah, let's try looking in the basement.
Well, I appreciate your optimism if and when, but anyway, continue.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic. You just said, they said it was really well written and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and we were saying, you know, then hopefully Mary would still be willing to do the little
Story thing.
storyboard.
Yeah.
And that would be great to put up.
Yeah, yeah.
So this brings up, I think, a larger question. As long as I've been on the committee, we haven't really sort of had an active Facebook page, which is listed on this webpage. And have only really done outreach when we did some events pre-COVID. Is the question on the table whether or not we want to have a more public-facing presence around what we're doing in general? Is that the question? Like reactivating the Facebook page and things like that?
Maybe not in general.
I don't think in general, this is more shared. I think this is more about specific
Okay.
topics. I think that's how this came up.
Terrified to see when we last posted on Facebook.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm terrified to see when we last posted on Facebook.
It's recent,
Oh, it is. Who posts on Facebook?
a week ago. Who did that?
Oh, Jen, is it about the
July
harvest
15th?
supper?
Yes.
Yep,
Is that your office?
yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, it's not enough. So go ahead.
That's great. No, but that's more, I mean, I honestly opened it just now and thought it was gonna say like 2020. I've never posted on our Facebook page.
Well, everyone thinks we should, and then nobody helps. And we've had many offers of help from this committee and no follow through. And so that's a very common theme. And then it's left to,
Just be there.
Help us in posting things.
yes.
Like we, as a member of the committee, could post things.
Well,
But you have to have.
in the past, we've had people, oh my God, promise to post. Ashley said she'd post like 3 times a week. And for a while, the algorithm seemed like, anyway, it's too much. I'm still trying to dig out of a hole that I can never get out of.
Mhm.
And
So-
I think it should be very specific what kinds of things we're posting.
Yes.
So it sounds like that would be good to have more clarity about what
It's just
the,
more time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but
just have to
who
give-
would do it and what the purpose is, but.
Yeah, because you just have to give, forget what that's called, some kind of rights, editing rights to somebody. Say I would say, oh, I'll post things, but anybody can't just post things. You have to have.
Right, you have to be, and it's not a regular page. Actually, Maureen Pollock set it up years ago. So it's a weird, I remember it took a while to just, every time we try to get someone on, it takes a while.
Mhm.
I'm not the person to figure that stuff out.
Mhm.
We're a sustainable committee. We shouldn't give someone an unsustainable
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to figure out who should be doing that.
Mhm.
I've never been on Facebook, so.
So not you.
Don't
So not
go.
me.
Yeah, ignore it.
I'm off the hook, but
It has 740 likes. It's a pretty good platform.
is that good?
I think so, yeah, like.
From last week?
No, I just mean in
No.
general, like that reaches
Yeah.
a pretty,
When you do continue to post, it does work. And again, I want to use it to post positive stories of
Yes.
ideas because I think so often people don't know what's possible.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
In events, upcoming events and stuff.
Yeah,
Does your office have another Facebook page? Like, would this Facebook page?
this is all we have.
Okay, okay.
I don't want to be on it.
So,
I'm gonna set up a committee. Or
but it would
whatever.
sort of, but it would do nice double duty if it was like pushing out both things we talk about here, things that your office is working on, like we would actually have a good amount of content
Yeah,
if we
look
had
more
a,
active.
if we had a discussion about how to do that. I'm pretty sure I said I was gonna do it more when I first joined the committee, but I don't think I did. I think I did it first.
good.
So is it feasible for anyone to do that?
I think so. I mean,
I mean,
unless it's a
promise,
weird
but-
page, I'll check it out.
Hmm.
But I mean, I do that for other groups.
Hmm.
But they
Yeah, for a
are
while, we had
group
someone who just wasn't, I wouldn't have posted what was being posted. So
That's another question.
Just when I was-
Well, yeah.
Who decides what gets?
Right, right.
And who decides who has access to the
Yeah.
Facebook page? Because I don't know that a non-city person, we ran into this,
Oh,
at least with Visit Greenfields. There was some question about whether, like Hannah wanted to post on Instagram and Matt was reluctant. I don't know if it was Matt, someone in the city felt like it shouldn't be anyone who's outside of the city having access just because it's social media. And well, Hannah is amazing. If Hannah goes away and a different person
Right, right.
gains that access, that could be problematic. So I don't know what the rules are around who can post on Facebook, city affiliated Facebook pages. But if I have access to it, I think I do.
So that would be maybe good to clarify. Is it?
It would seem to me if that's a thing that we want to do and we have somebody who has capacity volunteering. If we all think it's a good idea, but nobody has capacity to post on a Facebook page, then it wouldn't matter who's able to do it.
I mean, I could, but same as Hannah, I'm not a city employee.
Yeah, but if you're willing, I guess we could find out if that would be okay.
As long as, I mean, if things were screened by an
Yes.
employee.
Well, and this is your page. I don't even know which page we're
it's
talking about.
actually part of the job
Control.
description
So-
for the person who is the assistant role.
Mm.
in
Is
my
the what?
department.
Oh, this isn't.
Maintaining the Facebook page is part of their,
So would we give that person the information and then they would post it? So we say, hey, can you add this to the page? Can you add this to the page?
sure.
So we would just have to agree on items that we want to put on the page and then we could give it to this person to do it.
Who is this person?
It's Jen Morrow. We've actually been compiling a list so that we can have a bunch of material so that it can be posted regularly, because it's actually, I find more difficult to continue to have to find new stuff every couple of days.
Sure.
It sounds like having more people coming up with content
Yeah.
than having it officially channeled through her might be helpful. Be more sustainable.
I can't imagine it would be every couple of days, you know? I can't imagine it would be every couple of days.
That's what seemed to work best, but
Well,
yeah,
but
again, there's just,
But it was multiple people turning stuff in like other departments.
no, it
and
was
stuff,
just
no?
us. It's
Just
really
you?
Just been us.
Yeah, that's a lot every couple of days.
Yep.
Is it, not to, nominate the new guy, but is it possible to
What makes Paul do
Jonathan
it?
in? No, that's a good idea. Is the DPW busy? Jonathan, does he oversee?
So typically, if we have stuff going out, we would also give it to the communications person.
Right,
So it'd be
Right.
shared on the city's website and their outlets, and they have a lot of outlets.
so like if we added this outlet to his list and he was just sort of like putting things out in the appropriate channels, is that an option? As far as his job description, or would that be like a little left field for?
So first of all, I mean, the overlap seems to be on occasion,
Mhm.
not every post.
Yeah.
And I think just like with the newspaper, they're like, oh, we already did an energy story. Like, you get only so much juice and then you're done. So it's getting in the rotation is, I would just say it's not something to count on as a,
But I mean, like shooting him a thing and being like, can you post this on our page?
I think that,
Not really how it works.
I mean, I can talk to him. I just talked to him. He seemed, anyway, that's adding another job to him.
Yeah.
So it's really up to the mayor, I would say.
Like on this, like sustainability of social media in general, like just peer-to-peer stuff is really nice, where you don't have it just a one-way announcement, but where it's like a listserv or a Google group, or where it's like a Facebook group where people can talk to each other, or a Signal group, because other people have sustainable ideas, and then it's less pressure on like us to be like putting out content. I don't want to think about that kind of filling that niche in a way.
Could you say more what you mean? I'm not clear.
Like a peer-to-peer thing where like,
Engagement.
where like if like a Google group where like anybody can email it and then anyone on the Google group subscribed will get that email. It's not just like there's an admin who sends content one way.
Hmm.
So I think.
That's what we have. I think anyone who likes sustainable Greenfield gets posts when they are posted. Is that different?
But
It's different. Cause
It's like responding back to comments.
So you can have a
liking
conversation, yeah.
things, Sharing.
But it would
other people's
enable,
stuff,
it's, yeah, it also,
reposting.
instead of, the communication format that Sarah's talking about, it wouldn't be on energy and sustainability to do all of the posting. Anybody who's within that Google group
Yeah.
or whatever could post within that Google group,
Post on,
just,
inside the Google group.
just would be an email. Sorry, I don't know if this is like the.
no, I'm just trying to, it sounds like public engagement.
Yeah.
Sounds good, but I'm not just, I'm a Luddite, so, but where would that go? Where would it be seen? It would be a Google group of people who are engaged and
Yeah,
interested.
like Greenfield already has a Google group, a GG discuss group. So I don't know. It's sort of redundant with that, but if you have thoughts, Nancy.
Well, that's a Greening Greenfield.
Yeah.
Discussion group. That's not a SGI.
Yeah, it's not.
So.
I think
so
it's a very different thing than,
that it appears if you agree to do it, then it appears on your email screen.
Hmm.
Can be annoying.
I'm an admin.
Right on.
You're an admin for,
Sustainable Greenfield? I think I am too.
Oh, great.
Not sure if I know how to. But Jen is awesome. She's
you,
new and she's, but yeah.
so is there anything more with this agenda item we want to talk about today, or if we want to come back to it generally, or just
I think we
with
should
this
come back
specific topics?
to
or-
this question of
Okay.
social
I'm gonna
media.
say, do you think you could summarize that we've agreed to something, or what have we agreed to something? Can we?
Please.
I think we have agreed to discuss what we are amplifying out towards the public topic by topic. And I think we have started a conversation about whether or not we want our social media presence to be better supported. Supporting Carol's office, supporting the page in general as one of the ways that we get info out there and potentially get info out there more expediently.
I think we've agreed on that latter. haven't we?
Oh, we did?
Don't we think we'd like to use that
More social
Facebook
media,
page, more social media?
if we can figure out how to sustainably manage it. Mhm.
Well, I think the other thing that we agreed is that we are getting out the word. We need to think about it topic by topic and have a strategy, and to decide if it's something that's really sensitive that we need a complicated plan, or can we just move forward? So it's not a simple thing, unfortunately. Never is.
Yeah.
This makes it interesting. Okay, next,
could I ask a
Oh,
quick
please.
question before we move on? I'm sorry, did,
No.
was the conclusion of all of that we wanted to talk about this again, at least the social media piece at our next meeting?
Yeah.
I think you can always answer, do we want to talk about this again with yes?
next item is discussion of engagement with Community Preservation Committee. Discussion of how SGIC could or should engage with the CPC, review of priorities, review of proposed projects, and whether SGIC wants to consider submitting a CPC project in an upcoming round of funding. Was there a lead on? Oh, please.
So I think I started talking about things again. I think I
Oh, yeah.
started this topic
Many
last
times,
year.
actually.
I think I started this topic last year and did have a couple meetings with Travis and Drury and such, because I think one of the challenges of this committee is that we don't have any funding that comes with what we're doing here. And so at the time, I was kind of looking around to see who has some money that maybe we want to, plug into a little bit. And so CPC is one of those. There are certainly others. And the idea that kind of came out of it that Travis and I discussed was if there was a way that SGIC could be somewhat more of an advisory role at some point in the CPA process, to kind of vet applications that were coming in against the master plan and I don't know that advise is the right word, but at least share with the CPC, hey, this stack of applications here, they are really in line with the master plan. It's the whole idea of the master plan is that because it was produced with so much community input, it kind of gives a leg up on on an application that's coming in, that might also be something that would have strong community backing, which is part of the CPC's charge, is to fund the things that are really supported by the community. We didn't quite, it was just sort of an idea last year. And so we didn't quite get to a place where we figured out at what point the SJC might be able to do that. But Travis was very interested in that. And so I think if we want to keep pursuing, that's different than us submitting an application on our own. But whether it's picking up the thread of potentially reviewing applications and submitting suggestions to the CPC, submitting applications ourselves, or being a little bit of the patron role where we're finding other organizations or people to submit applications because we know that they're in line with the master plan and we go to, I'll just use my own organization, if this committee comes to me and says, we have XYZ idea that we think would be a really great submission for CPA funds, the GBA would certainly consider it if it aligns with what we do. And so the more partners on a CPA submission, the stronger it is. So that was kind of the genesis of that, and I think is still a really good role for us to play if we're really thinking about implementation.
Please.
And I think the CPC comes up with themes every year.
Yeah.
So maybe we
With
could,
themes?
yeah, like what they would like proposals on.
They actually are by law have
Yeah.
to fund based on, is
Yeah.
it 4?
Categories?
Yeah,
Categories,
but
yeah.
within that, I think this year I saw, they encourage projects on this and that.
Oh, interesting.
Housing.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we
Hmm.
had something dear to our heart, we could maybe
Yeah.
suggest, could you put that as one of your priorities
Hmm.
for proposals to come in?
Nancy?
I like that idea a lot. This year I attended that meeting for, input from the community. I was the only person who attended that meeting. They would really like more input from the general
The
public.
only person at all? The
Excuse me,
only person?
I'm the only
Public person.
general public person who attended the meeting and had thoughts about what they should be supporting, whatever
Blows my mind.
that I care about. And I think one of the issues that they talked about after that is that one of their challenges is that they've been up and running now for, I think this is the 3rd year maybe.
Yeah.
And there haven't been a lot of completed projects to date. It takes a long time to get going. So they're talking about, okay, how can we build a greater presence so people understand what comes out of the CPC funding? And so they're thinking about, having more celebrations when things are actually completed, that sort of thing, to try to foster this. But I think anything that we, it wouldn't be, we could just talk about it as a group and then have a presence at that meeting and have an input into it, as a group, like, these things are in the master plan. These are things we care deeply about. et cetera. And hopefully the CPC can fund them.
Sarah?
Yeah, I was thinking that some projects get like letters of support from the community, so that would just be a really easy thing that Civic
Mhm.
for you, Amy, Civic could give a letter of support for projects that seemed like on our radar, because I feel like some projects are not that related, and it's like us evaluating it on sustainability criteria. This doesn't really make sense there, but if it's something that is, then
I was out of town for that meeting and I was so bummed I couldn't go, and it blows my mind that you were the only one there, and thank you for being there. I would like to propose that we reach out to CPC and see if they want to have a joint meeting, because I want to talk to that whole committee and understand like how we can support their process. Like if they're looking for community input and they're not getting it, and we implement a master plan that is supposed to be the voice of the community, I just feel like there are steps to be taken, and Travis and I had a great meeting, but it feels like more, it feels like a conversation to have with like a whole group.
I think it'd be fun if we put together a project for funding. I know that's like a big, like, talk about like capacity and sustainability of doing sustainable things, but I do feel like that would be cool.
Mhm.
Or even if there was like some sort of like I don't know, I don't want to say expectation, but even if it was just like a low amount of funding, like a few thousand, that CJIC would generally be able to apply for each year, if that was like a regular recurring thing. Actually,
I think one of the challenges I'm all for applying for things. I think one of the challenges I see with that is just that we are not organized to execute a project. And I think that's why I think about it in regard to like us banding with an organization, or like, but I agree that if we identified something that we were like, ooh, this is, because we also, something that came up, I think it was a couple of years, or maybe when CPA first sort of came out, is that so many projects that get submitted are on public property. And you have to get buy-in from the rec department, the DPW, whomever, and lay people don't necessarily have those relationships. And that was one of the places that I was like, we could help with that. Like we could make introductions, we could support, so I'm into applying ourselves, but I also think I see us more as like facilitating and making sure everybody has what they need to get projects done, to the point of how many projects come to completion or not. But I agree. I think we should identify some things we want.
I'll call myself. So they will meet right after us, right?
Yes.
Thank you. When I was just wondering, we're not gonna see Christian.
No, you're gonna see Anna and me.
Oh. Those are great consolation prizes.
My parent,
Sorry.
So it's gonna, just from a feasibility of combining, just some point of view of feasibility of having a combined meeting rather than having perhaps a delegation of this committee attending one of the meetings. And
Sure.
it would be probably the simplest thing would be have a less than quorum amount of this committee.
Not allowed.
As long as it's not a quorum, then it's not,
Oh.
yeah, then it doesn't count as a meeting. So 5 or fewer. Because then, it's a representative group. They can have some input and come back to this committee with a report of how it went. And it might be just more feasible for. So that's just my thought as an alternative to your idea of, having, because, with scheduling and stuff like that, either
Yeah.
we'd be all staying for their meeting or, it's just a little
Or
convoluted.
maybe
for
we
us.
could overlap for half an hour. Or something, like we could start at 4:30. I think part of it for me is I want them to know what we're doing also. Like I want, like if the point here is that everybody be using the master plan, then the real outreach we should be doing at all times is making sure that every group, especially those with money, know everything about the master plan.
And also Nancy has her hand up.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to point out that the CPC meeting where they're going to be discussing their planning for the upcoming cycle is the one today.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good Lord.
Never, like,
Nancy,
That's.
Hannah, I'd recommend that you talk to the present chair, which is Susan Wergaftig, about this idea and see if there's a meeting that they might put it on the agenda, for example, so that they're prepared for having a moment when we might be there, or some of us who can be there would be there.
I'm very happy to do that.
yes.
Just that, they're electing a new chair and vice chair today, so it's possible that Susan may not be the chair after. It's like, oh, so easy. I can't believe it. Okay.
So like the rec department usually submits proposals and agree with the housing authority. And so like even if we went directly to the usual applicants and said, talk about our priorities within their scope, that might be another way of being like, okay, like invasive management on public land or something like that.
Yeah, they have strange requirements.
They do.
Management, I think, is not, it's like a no.
Is that true?
Well,
It can't-
because
it
we
can't
were
be like
thinking about,
ongoing.
conservation areas and doing like management of them, and that was a no,
Mhm.
according to,
according
Oh.
to their rules.
okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Maybe for the next agenda, we could ask whomever the chair of CPC is to come to our next committee meeting and share whatever it is that they decide on for their plans today and the parameters, sort of like give us a CPC, unless you all feel very vested or like comfortable with CPC, maybe just share with us like what their plans are, what their priorities are, their schedule. I have an initial
I've
conversation.
heard that many times, but if nobody else has.
I've heard that, but I'm down to.
Yeah, we've heard it.
Well, okay,
What again?
everyone has heard it. then
No,
we
We've
don't
had
have to-
the
I thought they
CP,
were
it was
just
Travis
working on
was the chair, I think, right? Before.
Travis was the chair before Susan, yeah.
Yes.
But I don't know what their priorities are for this year, 'cause I
No,
thought that's.
I
I
what
mean,
you
they'll
were
be the
deciding
same
tonight, right?
open space, housing, whatever, those won't change, but within those, they could have priorities.
Right, that's what I'm agreeing with you.
They're
Nancy?
that they're absolutely working on that and developing a plan. So
Right.
that's the other side of it. I mean, they can come and talk to us about it, but they'll have a piece of paper that has that written on it.
Okay, so. Which is. I have a question. What's the resistance to overlapping as a group with them and having a deeper conversation? If we were able to align it?
You mean just shifting our,
Yeah, yeah, if we were to reach out to them and say, we want to overlap for half an hour and kind of like make sure you're aware of what we do, we want to be a little more aware of what you do. Does it feel like not necessary?
I don't know how efficient a half hour with that many people in a room is gonna be as far as communication.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people, and I don't know how,
Okay. I was just curious, it was
I don't know
it was
about
an
other
honest
people's
question.
sense of that. There's only so many people can talk at once, and if we're trying to.
We could all talk at once for a half hour. It'd be very productive.
That'd be fun.
We should have a speaker for each group.
Yeah, that's what I
For
definitely,
each group.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to invite the new chair,
I mean,
if that feels, or invite myself to their meeting or whatever.
yeah, I mean, that was just my reaction. Other people might disagree. I think it's good to have an overlap of each full committee.
I mean, I agree that half an hour, you'll probably take up that whole half an hour to tell we're doing.
I mean, I was looking to do the whole meeting. I
Oh, the
was
whole
offering the
meeting.
half an
Oh,
hour
oh, oh.
as a compromise.
Right.
Because I feel like there's resistance. I'm just not clear on what it is because it feels so aligned to me to like moving the work forward. So I just wasn't sure if there was.
Resistance
like,
from in this room?
Yeah, like
Oh.
to overlapping meetings or having a joint meeting or something like that seemed like it didn't seem,
I think I was the only one that spoke. I don't know if anyone else.
oh.
Yeah. Is anyone else?
No resistance here.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
I just feel like we've discussed this at least once, if not more times before.
Mhm.
And I thought we kind of resolved at that point that CPC's kind of got it going on. And they're doing great work, but maybe they need our assistance if nobody was at their meeting except for Nancy. But I just feel like we struggle knowing what we do and like taking something on where everything's kind of like, oh, yeah, we're, I mean, a support letter is a concrete thing. We can do that.
Mhm.
I mean, the master plan's now 11 plus years old. So I think a lot of that has changed with the times and there's just like kind of best practices, which again, from what I'm reading of the projects that are being funded, they're adhering to.
Mhm.
So it just feels like we're trying to insert ourselves, but by all means, if there's a role that we can actually play that results in something that is determined by the committee, then I'd be open to that.
Nancy?
Yeah, I think the idea, Hannah, of you just attending one of the meetings would be fabulous, so that you get a much clearer idea of how it's all going. And I'll go back to, and Carol also was going there, it's like, at a certain point, people have generated projects and they've sent them into the CPC. And I know that for years I've reviewed every single one of them myself, and any individual in the community can make a comment. And
Mm.
certainly we could review them and, say, gee, these things really further the goals that are established in the
Mhm.
in the master plan. That level of could be helpful, but perhaps if you spoke with them, Hannah, and got that sense of that, it would be great.
Honestly, I'm interested in inviting Christy to a meeting and hearing, I don't know, or even talking. to her.
Inviting who did you say?
Christy.
Christy.
from Rec department,
More.
Oh,
or even talking to her offline, not in a meeting, because I feel like that's such a good avenue for our committee to potentially help work with like capacity to implement. And also bring in community people for like something very tangible for public land.
CPC is locked out, so I'll be right back.
Oh, no.
I know we've tried, the open space task force, because that's
Oh, okay.
really overlaps.
Yeah.
But we haven't been successful
Okay.
yet.
I
To even
missed that.
talk. We were hoping that one of their commission members would come to our meeting in August, we'll see.
Okay. Like your open space task.
The
force
open
meeting.
space, yeah,
Oh,
right,
okay.
but I'm just saying, we've been meeting for a year and we haven't been
Okay.
successful yet in talking with Christie.
so,
Definitely not coming to our meeting, but even,
I was just gonna follow up and say, I think if we have very specific questions for Christy, then we should invite her, but I think with how busy she is and how I think she feels about meetings in general, it would have to be like, we're really specific with our ask.
so to wrap up this item, my sense is the general
Mhm.
input is having the chair, whoever that is gonna be,
Mhm.
come to part of our next meeting, having you go to
To
their
theirs.
meeting,
Okay.
so there's an exchange,
Mhm.
and then having us look at the proposals, comment on the themes and look at the proposals,
Mhm.
and maybe consider, as you were talking about, prompting some proposals or
Yeah.
discussing that.
We could
Is that
also just
some-
do that. I mean, if reviewing the proposals and making suggestions is helpful, we could just do that.
Does that seem like the consensus of the group overall?
Yeah, I feel like the letter of support avenue feels
Mhm.
really
Letters of support.
tangible.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want us to like take up a whole meeting of like evaluating proposals, because I feel like that's their job then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're doing a
They're
great
doing it
job.
well, they're doing it well. Yeah,
But I mean, from the point of view,
yeah,
if those ones we want to particularly offer support to.
right.
Okay, and we'll have to catch up, Amy, with what we just said. The notes. So the next item is discussion of Greenfield Public Schools composting. Discussion around the history and status of composting at Greenfield Public Schools and whether SGIC would want to support efforts to reinstate composting in the school system.
Well, on my agenda.
So,
Right,
Amy,
so-
we just were agreeing to have the new chair of the CPC join us for a meeting and to go to their meeting, hear about the themes and.
Awesome.
And
I'll listen.
listen to,
That's,
yeah.
yeah.
You're right. Nice. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so Nancy, this is a revised agenda that came up.
I printed out the
Yes,
one
sir.
that I just got.
Nancy?
I put this topic, I proposed this topic for the agenda, and I did that. So it's a little history that Green and Greenfield has been involved in with the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District for probably 5 years in getting the composting up originally, and which happened before COVID, and then it collapsed. And the last couple of years, Green and Greenfield, again, working with FCS, whatever that is, SWMD, have been working to try to get a moving forward. And the Greenfield Public Schools, they actually made a commitment in 2016 to adopt composting. And it was instated in every single school in Greenfield. So it's this reinstatement, which is the issue. Last year, the Sustainability Club at the high school was very involved, wanted to do this, and they worked at measuring, again, weighing how much compost comes out of the high school waste, the cafeteria. And so that information was there, and they wanted to do a pilot project before the end of the year, but that didn't happen. So we're trying to move this forward. There's an interim super, as you know, Roland Joyla, and in reading the newspaper stuff, it seems like he's looking for opportunities to do things that will move things forward, but not change the whole school system. So the question is, would SGIC like to try to be part of this effort to get the composting up and running again? So I think the next steps are, we've reached out to the school committee, and we're at the point of thinking like, well, maybe it's time to try to set up a meeting with the interim superintendent to discuss this, with the goal of getting it started in the fall, when the school starts up again.
I can give you a little history on where we were at last year and where we're at today with that in the school system. Kyle Bostrom oversees the tech side of things. He had that group of students that were weighing the stuff and coming up with numbers, and then he went out and got some pricing on what it would cost to have somebody come pick up the compost and dispose of it at Martin's or wherever they go, because Martin's also in the process of being sold. I was sold, and I don't know if they're going to take compost anymore or do different things. So that was up in the air, but it was roughly around $150 a month per school, around $12,000 a year to add this back into the system, which wasn't put in any budgets at the time. But then somebody like, I don't know if they're working with that other group or with Kyle, they're talking about trying to get somebody to fund it for a year and get it back going, and then possibly it could be implemented back into the operating budget of the school system. But it is around a $12,000 a year cost just to move the compost out of the schools. And then you have the cost, in the past where they bought these, I'm not familiar with it, but some sort of bags that go into the interior school. Yeah, they're inside the school where they collect it. They're disposable bags that you can put into the larger containers and it all goes, so you don't have to separate it.
Mhm.
Food services was paying for those, and I don't know what the cost of that was. People were kind of thinking that if we do more on the compost side of things, we could reduce the cost of dumpsters, but
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to do that because I just negotiated last year a 3-year contract on dumpsters, and we went down a lot on our costs because they wanted to keep our business. So we spend roughly $40,000 a year for all our dumpsters for everything. And there's other areas that are much higher than that, like other school systems and stuff. So we have a really good system, but if you went from like a 10-yard dumpster down to a 6-yard dumpster, it's a very minimal price difference.
Mm.
So you're not gonna have a huge savings. And the amounts that like Kyle was talking about were like, it was something like 100 pounds a week or something. It was,
Total, all the schools?
no, just a high school.
Oh.
So each school, there's a fee for each school.
Yep.
So, and if you're taking 100 or 200 pounds a week out of a dumpster, it's not a big difference. It's better for to dispose of it correctly. So we still have all the yellow barrels and things that they used for it. So, minus 1 or 2 that probably disappeared or went somewhere, I don't know. But we have the majority of stuff to do it. It would be the cost of it. And then, we're roughly $11,000, $12,000 for picking it up and getting rid of it. And then I would assume a few $1,000s for the bags and stuff. So you're in the upwards of $15,000 a year. And, the city is trying to find ways to save money. So I don't know how that would go over, but I'm just saying that's where we're at. That's what we know the costs are. And we were going to just do the high school again, like Nancy mentioned. And that didn't happen for the end of the year. Kyle did see at the end of the year, the group of kids that he had that were involved that wanted to do it, either all graduated or moved on to other things. And he doesn't have a group of kids that can do it this upcoming school year. So I don't know how involved they were going to be, what they actually did.
Yeah, thank you for all that information. And I think the one piece of information that I'd like to put on the table is, so Amy Donovan, who works with the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District, I'm sure you know of her. She's Ms. Composter. Anyway, she's been involved with every single school in Franklin County, with the exception of Greenfield, is composting. And she looked into the cost, and there's more than one hauler. So the people that this high school kids were talking to was not the only option. There's another option which looks like it would cost, at least for the high school, not necessarily for the whole system, but about $4,000 a year, which is a huge discrepancy between the two haulers. It makes me sad because, to be perfectly honest, the hauler with the high price is the compost cooperative. And the other one is a large composting company. And so there's that issue. And Green and Greenfield has in our budget, and we've had it for a couple of years, some money to pay Amy to help get the system up and running. And I see Peg Hall just joined us, who has more details than I do. And the other piece about the weight, and I don't have this in my head, but Amy did an exhaustive, like back in 2016, an exhaustive study of how many pounds of compost were actually diverted in that passing. The number 5 tons comes into my head. I think that must have been annual, is my guess, and maybe Peg knows that. But right now she's muted, so I don't know if how active she is. But in any case, so I think that there's things to be discussed. I'm hoping that we can move this forward. And yes, the economic challenges are huge. I would not want to belittle those. But I think they're a little bit less than the high school kids came up with.
Celeste?
I have a question, doesn't the city, the transfer
DPW.
station,
Yeah,
can't we bring compost there and don't pay anything? I mean, you still have to haul it.
I believe they were allowing, yes, they're allowing people, the residents to bring their compost up there. It goes into a container that one of these companies comes and takes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a cost to bringing it there. I think it's free. But you would have to have a way to get it there.
Yeah, that's where the hauling thing is the problem. And that dumpster, by the way, is still going to Martin's. And Martin's, it seems like they're making commitment to, well, you're right, the business is up for sale, but there's a commitment not to close it for whatever that's worth. Tricky.
So Nancy, as we're winding down time for this meeting, when you had in the agenda item about question of whether SGIG would want to support these efforts to reinstate the composting, was that from the point of view of a letter of support or something like that? Is that the question?
Well, yeah, I wanted to just bring the topic up to you guys and to see if there is interest in supporting it. Then the question is, what does that mean? And yeah, I think a letter of support is probably the level that we're talking about. I mean, certainly SJC doesn't have any money or that sort of thing. So,
Yes. I think the biggest challenge on the school system is finding somebody that can steer it and drive the ship. You know, and then keep it active. So, you know, is it part food service, part facilities? Is it part outside group helping with it? I think that's where the disconnect is.
how was it done before?
I don't know that.
Well,
Is there someone within the school system who is passionate about this particular topic that might be, or Nancy, you might know too, someone that you're connecting with? Because I feel like if we don't have someone inside for whom this is like, I want to see this
Kyle
happen.
Bostrom was, and he had a group of kids, and then for some reason, those group of kids dissolved either through graduation or something. But he was making it part of a class. And he
Oh.
was he was into it. He has his own little sustainable garden outside that he works with the students and stuff like that. So, and he has his own private farm here and stuff. So
Yeah.
Kyle is by far the guy. He's,
Would it be worth talking to him, like maybe having him come in and chat with us about it? Or are you meeting with him? Is that who you're meeting with? Oh, Peg's here too.
what we do you want to recognize Peg or do
You want
you
me
want
to
to speak?
aspect? Peg, you can go ahead and share, calling on you. You have to unmute.
they started 2 minutes.
Yep.
You're muted, Peg.
Or that was fast. I'll meet mine.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes.
Peg, you're muted. And we're getting close to the end.
Not allowed to unmute.
Not a lot.
Working on it, working on it.
And just to caution you, Peg, we're just a couple of minutes toward the end of the meeting, so sorry to have to rush you.
Try now, Peg.
No, still no red.
No, but I asked her if she wanted to unmute. Unmute all. Try now. Nope.
Okay.
So
Well,
funny,
okay.
it'll finally
Well-
work and she's like,
Well, in any case, Green and Greenfield will be moving forward with an invitation, with a request to meet with the interim superintendent. So that will happen regardless of what this group.
And you're wondering if having that person,
Yeah, my question was whether Kyle Bostrom was someone that you were already meeting with as part of this, because it sounds like he might be an ally in this work.
I've spoken to a number of times. I haven't spoken to him since Karen Patnode retired. And
Okay.
but that's a good idea. We've also reached out to some of the people who are in the school committee.
Yeah,
'cause-
he's awesome, and I feel like if he's still interested, he could be a great person to help push forward.
Cause he's
Right.
at the
And
school every
Amy's
day
having-
and stuff.
Yeah.
Someone like myself, I'm at all 6 schools
Yeah,
and stuff. So he's there, he sees it.
yeah.
And that's the biggest school. Once you get that going, the rest of the schools will go fairly easy. And then at that point, you probably want to push more on the food service group people because they're in the cafeterias, they're serving the food.
Mhm.
So it'd be an added task to the food service team.
Well, yeah,
Probably not major, but
Yeah, yeah.
something.
well,
I know we're
Greta
gonna have,
was-
oh, go
Greta
ahead,
was
Nancy.
Greta was on this committee for a couple of years or
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
year, and she's very
Mhm.
supportive of the idea, so
Yeah,
Great.
another champion, certainly.
I know we're gonna have
That's
to
awesome.
wrap up momentarily, but sorry.
I just was wondering, like, I would love if we do take this up as something that we can really ensure will happen, because it's like people, young people should get used to composting, and
Mhm.
that should be your norm.
Yeah.
And then you grow up and then you do it. So it's important. And yeah, just like if we can offer a letter of support or something, I mean, that's not, it seems like there's more like conversations with individuals, but yeah, just I do want to keep this as like a big priority.
We'll repeat this on next month. Perhaps,
Maybe an
someone come-
update next. When are you meeting with them, Nancy? You said?
We have not sent out the
Oh,
the request. That I wanted to talk
Okay.
about this with you first.
And you're hoping this is gonna start again in like a month, in September?
Right, so it's a little tricky in terms of the Amy's availability, because she gets
Yeah.
tied up in the Franklin County Affair and the all of that. So it probably wouldn't get started until October, but the idea is, this in the fall when this school starts up again.
Gonna have to clear the room momentarily, just where that, Carol, last thought.
No, I was just thinking, I love to ask people for things for free, and this seems pretty compelling. But I know you said Amy's working with all the other school districts too, so that might be tougher. But I know when I worked in Northampton on it, we had free hauling, which helped a lot. And parents were the shepherds, and the kids were awesome, and their school lunches sucked. But
lots of compost.
thanks for composting. Like, is this food? I don't know. But anyway, I would love to see it happen, and
Mhm.
12,000, as we know, is not a lot of money, but it's a lot when you have none.
Right, and that's across their schools.
Yeah.
It's not just one school.
No, yeah, yeah,
12,000 total across the
Yep,
schools.
yep.
So it does break down
Yeah.
less to each school.
Because the other, I mean, what about tuna?
To be continued
And
next month.
Lots of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So I assume the open space task force update had been
It's
Jonah's
still
item,
open.
and he isn't here, so I hadn't.
But we
So
didn't
good.
meet, we did not meet we didn't have, forget what the problem was, so.
Summer?
So,
No, there was an issue posting the agenda.
Oh, right.
Matt had been posting the agenda, and when he left, it was sort of up in the air who would do it in the interim for.
So there's really no
Gotten
news
started.
since the last.
We'll do that next month.
Yeah.
Okay, the next meeting is, and Peg, sorry, we weren't able to unmute you, Peg. But we will be continuing this item next month, you probably heard. So the next meeting is August 28th at 4:00 here.
Can I just say one thing? It's a
Please.
statistic. If food waste was a country, it would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gas
Wow.
emissions.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
So I think it's a huge priority.
Yeah.
I think we're probably all agreed on, we'd be supportive of this. We can just get some details now. There are motions to adjourn.
Second.